Welcome. Hello, folks. This is a second attempt at a video essay in response to Moodz616. Um, and before this is Brian Davis. There's no hiding. I don't have a Smokey and the Bandit type fucking handle. This is my Christian name. No smoke and mirrors. Woo. Whatever. So yeah, let's get into it. Before we get into my rebuttal, let's establish a little background. Okay, long before I became this broken down man you see today, there was an 8-year-old boy named Brian Davis. This boy, contrary to what some people would say nowadays, grew up rather poor and did not have the best childhood. So one of those things to escape said childhood were movies, specifically horror movies. I really got into these after watching Nightmare on Elm Street, the first Nightmare on Elm Street. And afterwards, I discovered many more. Now, along the way, I did discover John Carpenter's Halloween and the sequels, and am a fan. And to that, you might think I'm a fanboy, and you can, whatever label you want to put on me, I don't care. It's all good. Okay? And you can like movies in the franchise that I don't like, and vice versa, but that doesn't really matter. And even though I am a fan of the Halloween franchise, I don't think it's perfect any more than I think the rest of them were. I think they were, they had their ups and downs, you know. But the point is, I developed a tense passion for horror films that I still have to this day. And now, recently, I sort of sent an angry text to Moodz616 that whom I've been watching on the internet for about a year maybe, because he said something about Halloween and the new Halloween films that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And it's not the fact that he likes them and I don't. Actually, we both hate those movies, but probably for very different reasons. The point I'm trying to make, though, is I alluded to some things in that text, and I want to sort of go through kind of what I meant and what I was trying to say, because I did try to respond again in another text message, but it was kind of long and rambly, and I find that kind of like an awkward way of responding to people. So, I'm going to break down my points. First point, the illusion I made in the response to Hollywood wokeness. I said in my response, because he was saying something about the Halloween Ends makes fun of like fanboys, and my response to that was, so shitting on people who supported your franchise is cool now. And then I said, that sounds kind of woke to me. And maybe Moodz probably interpreted that as me saying he is woke. And I guess if you want to say if he agrees with that sort of philosophy, then maybe yes, I do think he's woke. But that doesn't matter. What matters is the point I was trying to make. And the point is this: Hollywood is run by a bunch of elitist, leftist assholes. And I'm not even talking about like your average Democrats here. I'm talking extreme social justice leftists, right? And these people do essentially their goals in Hollywood have been twofold. The first is to remake everything they view as being of the patriarchy into their own image. That's why we get like Black April O'Neil, Black Velma, yada 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 yada, whatever. And the other thing they like to do is they like to take everything that is the byproduct of, again, what they deem of the patriarchy. They like to take the fans of these things and kind of crap on them by taking these franchises that they love so much and purposely fucking them up or inserting their own agenda into them. This is what I was alluding to. Now, maybe I didn't say it the best way, but it is what it is, you know? And there you go. So now you kind of know why I meant by that. Now I'm going to sort of elaborate on that a little bit, because there was an ultimate point I was trying to make beyond the political stuff. See, when you talk about New Hollywood, it's kind of hard not to get political, because believe it or not, has a political animal. I'm kind of like anti-politics. I hate politics. I get a headache when I think about politics. That's why I don't like these new Halloween films. Just don't like them, you know. But and I don't like that retconning shit either. But that's a whole nother, argument or whatever. But the other point I was trying to make is this notion of fanboyism and what fanboys mean and stuff like that. Because basically it's fairly simple, right? It's one thing, I guess, if Moodz, who makes content that is unrelated to the Halloween films, can look and say, hey, I find these aspects of the fandom really annoying, and I'm glad the Halloween director, whatever that doofus's name was, cut them down. That's fine, because it's not fine, I guess, but, it's fine, but it's fine in the fact that he has the right to say what his opinion is. It's not fine in the fact that I think that that's kind of like elitist in a way. I guess you can view it at that, because, I mean, this is what I would say to Moodz. If Moodz went to me and told me how annoying these supposed Hollywood fanboys are, and I would say, have you actually sat down and had a serious one-on-one conversation with said fanboys? Or is this something you're just kind of made up in your head, like this is how they are and blah, 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 blah? That's the one thing I'd say about that. And also another thing I'd like to say is, like, what is a fanboy anyway? Again, I kind of made an allusion to that a second ago. Is it somebody who shows up at a convention cosplaying as Michael Myers? Is it somebody who writes fan fiction online and, post it on there? Is it somebody who obsesses over these movies in detail and knows every little single thing about them? And I don't, by the way. I probably couldn't even tell you off the top of my head who played Michael Myers in like all the movies, And I know at different times it was like Dick Warlock and Nick Castle and George Wilbur and all that stuff. But, I'm not like obsessive like that. I guess the point I'm trying to make is I believe that people have the right to be as obsessive as they want to be. And so I don't really understand this elitism or this whole mentality of, oh, well, I'm a fan of him and he's a fanboy because that's tit for tat. It's like, And the other point I'm trying to make, and this is kind of like the ultimate point of my video, is getting back to Hollywood, is who made these Halloween movies and why did they make them? Who were they making them for? Because in my mind anyway, I think they were trying to make, on some level anyway, a product that would appeal to the fans of the Halloween movies, even though they were doing, again, that retconning bullshit and all that other stuff that we don't need. And as such, one could argue, again, they were making a product on some level that was trying to appeal to these fanboys enough to where they would show up at the movie theater with their however much tickets cost nowadays. They're ridiculously expensive. They're $15, they're $20, they're $30, they're $40. Wherever you are, I think the prices go up and down. It doesn't really matter. The point is they made a product that was designed to appeal to that demographic, at least in part, because here's the thing. If you're trying to make a movie in a franchise and you're trying to appeal to a certain demographic, that's fine. But if you are making a franchise and you are kind of like crapping on at least some of the fans of the franchise, some of the people who supported it over the years, then what are you making it for? What did the guy who directed these movies make? Well, I think there's more than one director, actually, but what do you make them for? Did he make them so he could brown nose up to John Carpenter, a guy who's going to be dead in 5 years, 10 years? And that's kind of the point of things, because in my opinion, and this is my final judgment on this, well, I don't believe in judgments, but is I think releasing a product to the fans, taking their money and then spitting in their faces is kind of a scumbag thing to do. And if Moodz or anybody else advocates for said scumbaggish behavior, well, This is my response to you, Moodz. And I don't think you'll ever watch this video because the YouTube algorithm's gonna fuck me over, but that's okay. But if you do, think about what I've said. And some of it you might have to think about because I do have a tendency to ramble sometimes and I jumble things here and there. But think about it. And then get back to me. Out.